Doc Loves the Kids, a local Kitsap County nonprofit organization established in 2015, whose mission is to provide activities, programs, and community support for at-risk youth.
They put the you in community.
Doc Loves the Kids.
Welcome to Uncommon Courtesy,
where we give you the courtesy of conversation
that's uncommonly spoke of.
I'm D-Mac.
I'm Wesley.
And this is the show. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Thanks, everybody, for viewing us and staying with us as we try to give you the real news, because that is actually going away these days. Don't forget to catch us every Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific time on the Friday Fix, and 1 p.m. Pacific time at our Sunday Town Hall. That's the name. That's what we're calling it.
Sunday Town Hall.
Sunday Town Hall. All Pacific time. So, Wes, how you doing today?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm watching the world crumble behind me.
I mean, hey, they trying to take it all from everybody right about now, just to get that steal from the poor to give to the rich.
Yeah, basically that's what's going on. So the Senate Republicans barely passed the measure to the budget resolution, and here's what to know. Their plans calls for at least $1.5 trillion in spending cuts over a 10-year period, and instruct numbers of committees to find ways to reduce the budget impact, while increasing spending for several other issue areas. The House Ways and Means Committee tasked with implementing the $4.5 trillion in tax cuts over a decade. The resolution would raise the debt ceiling by $4 trillion. Here are the areas where spending would increase. Now we're gonna tell it to you, then we're gonna break it down for you. So it's going to be up to $110 billion in additional spending for the Judiciary Committee, up to $100 billion for Armed Services Committee, up to $90 billion for the Homeland Security Committee. So it's basically defense, and then at least $880 billion by the Energy. Here are the committees that are tasked with finding cuts. At least $880 billion by the Energy and Commerce Committee, at least $330 billion by the Education and Workforce Committee, at least $230 billion by the Agriculture Committee, $50 million by the Oversight Government Reform Committee, $10 billion by the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, $1 billion by the Financial Services Committee, and $1 billion by the National Resource Committee. The final product must be deficit neutral to comply with the
reconciliation
rules, and Republicans are relying on the economic projections that show the tax cuts would spur economic growth that would increase tax revenues. Those projections have been questioned by outside experts and Democrats who describe them as overly optimistic. One analyst found that the budget proposal would allow for a deficit increase of $2.8 trillion through 2034. So, ladies and gentlemen, honestly, here we go. Check it out. They're going to cut SNAP, food stamps, by $230 billion. They're going to cut Medicaid by $880 billion. And then they're going to give $1.1 trillion tax cuts to the top 1%. The only way you get a tax cut in this bill that they passed is if you make over $400,000. Anyone under that, you won't get it. And just to show that, I'm going to show a video here from a Democrat, the Democrats, about stuff they try to put into the bill that, Republicans basically just told them, no, we're not going to do it. You can't do it. So here we go right now with the video.
I reserve.
The gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, the gentlelady is talking about what was said in the Rules Committee last night. I want to take a couple of minutes to talk about how people voted in the Rules Committee last night. We gave Republicans a chance last night in the Rules Committee. We said if they really don't believe that this budget cuts funding for school meals, if they really believe what they're saying, then they can vote to assure the American people that they're not going to steal school meals from kids in order to give tax breaks for millionaires. Every Republican voted no, every single one of them. Then Democrats offered an amendment to protect Medicaid. And Medicaid, as you know, Mr. Speaker, covers 41% of all births in the United States, nearly half of children with special health care needs, and 5 in 8 nursing home residents. We asked them not to cut Medicaid in order to fund tax breaks for billionaires. Every Republican voted no. Then Democrats offered an amendment to extend tax cuts for people making under $400,000 while ensuring that corporations and billionaires pay their fair share. We asked Republicans to continue tax cuts for only those who need them the most, because those are the tax cuts they let expire while their tax cuts for greedy corporations were made permanent. We asked them to prioritize working families over greedy corporations. Every Republican voted no. Then Democrats offered an amendment preventing tax giveaways for people earning over $1 million a year. Every Republican voted no. We wanted to see if there was anyone so rich that Republicans don't think they deserve a tax giveaway. So we asked them to vote against tax breaks for people earning over $100 million per year. We asked them to side with factory workers and firefighters over hedge fund managers and billionaire bankers. Every Republican voted no. We even offered an amendment preventing tax cuts for people with a net worth of over, get this, $1 billion. Every Republican voted no. They betrayed their constituents. They voted to steal from the American people in order to protect tax breaks for billionaires. Again, this is about whose side you're on. And Republicans showed us last night with their votes whose side they're on. And it's not the working people of this country. I reserve my time.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty telling right there. When they're going to take $880 billion out of Medicaid, man. I mean that money goes mostly to people who are Trump voters. Everyone knows that.
They said two out of three old folks in a home, so 2 out of 3 live off Medicaid, so they're dead. You know what I'm saying? It's 2 in 9 children. It said 40% of the children in America are on SNAPs or Medicare SNAPs and benefits like that. Think about it, 40%. I think 40% of children. So they're going to
childbirths at 41% of childbirths are covered by Medicaid.
Yes.
I mean 41% of childbirths. I mean that means every kid that's born, 41% of them are being covered by Medicaid. All right, we're going to cut this money from $880 billion. That's a lot of money. You're going to have to find
another
somewhere.
Rich person can have another $5 million for the year, another $10 million. You see what I mean? And this is a lot of people that are already being affected by all this. You see what's happening. You've lost your job. You know what I'm saying? You're about to lose your health care. They're going to take away the food stamps you think you get because they're going to raise the limit up. You know what I'm saying? Or actually, they're going to lower it. You're going to have to basically not get food. Like right now, it's like if you make over $4,000 a month, you're not eligible for food stamps.
Yeah, I mean, people have to realize where that is too. Those are in places where the living. You have to make probably $6,500 or more, $7,000, $8,000 to even be considered somewhat middle class or somewhat comfortable. I mean, the bigger thing about this is not even the bigger thing, because the biggest is $880 billion Medicaid, also money out of SNAP. I mean, which is going to hurt. Money out of education everywhere, $340 billion out of education. I mean, we act like we don't see what having a bad education system has done for us thus far. When we didn't even try to improve upon it, we just took away the money. Another thing is that this is going to add. They said even if all these cuts are enacted, which they probably won't be, but a lot of them will be. Even all these cuts are enacted, it'll still add almost $3 trillion to the deficit. It'll still add that much to the deficit just to fund tax breaks for these people right here. Period. Just to help them put more money in their pockets. And then whoever believes in trickle-down economics, we saw how it worked with the financial crisis. We saw how it worked in Reaganomics. We saw how trickle-down economics has worked forever. The greatest time in American history when the most people were in the middle class was basically from I feel like maybe the 40s through probably the 60s or 70s or something like that. When a middle class job could get you could have a house,
a car,
your kids at college.
You could go to college,
everything like that. And then at the same exact time, our tax rates were high compared to the rest of the world at that point in time. For people who made X amount of dollars, people who made millions of dollars, they were a little higher. Billions of dollars, they were a little bit higher. But it made sure there was parity within our economic system. We don't get that anymore.
No. I saw the gap go away as soon as the recession hit. You know what I'm saying? Because every year the minimum wage would go up every year, while all the rest of the taxes would go up. But during those 4 years of the first recession, or actually it was 2 years. I'll keep it 2 years. Minimum wage, they didn't want to raise it up because they said it would mess with the economy, but all the rest of the things went up. And that's when I saw the gap start to happen. And then, COVID came, they hit us again. And so there's no catching up here, folks. And so, it's okay. You may not be affected by it, but think about it. You got an 8-year-old that goes to school, right? Half the kids ain't going to show up. They ain't got no food to eat. There's no point for them to be there. Your kids, you can't afford to put your kids in private school, because if you do, you're going to have to be working your ass off. Your butt off.
Yeah. And they're trying to get rid of, on top of all that, they're getting rid of food programs in school. So that's going to be tough. You know, a lot of these kids are, you know, a lot of these kids are like food deprived. You know what I mean? A lot of them don't have a lot of food at home.
They don't eat food at home. They say some kids they don't eat from Friday to Monday. They starve all weekend. You know what I'm saying? Now some people can't. They're not. Who cares? The parents shouldn't be having these kids. Well, whatever. These people are here. Yeah. You know what happens to a person that's hungry? They get mad. They get angry. You know what an angry person does? They go out and they commit crimes. That's the crime's gonna go up because people are gonna get desperate. It has to. How are people going to survive?
Grandma's got to sell her script. You know what I mean? Things like that has to happen at this point in time. She can't survive. You have to look at life that way. You know what I mean? Like a person has to look at how am I going to eat now? You know, I got to decide, because they're letting all kinds of stuff lapse. They're getting rid of the $5 bank fees. They're getting rid of everything. So basically, you're going to be defending yourself on all fronts, paying more on all fronts just to survive. And we all know how bad it is right now. People say at least, oh, food prices are high. You know, a lot of prices of inflation's, you know, kind of got a lot of goods higher than what they normally are. Imagine where it's going next.
I was at my local Kroger, dude. And, you know, I put a picture on my Facebook about, look, this whole section where the eggs used to be, they're gone. You know what I'm saying? They had to put bacon over there to fill the gaps. Then when they finally got eggs, it was just a small little sliver. So, I mean, it's only going to get worse before it gets better. And a lot of people, you know, the thing is, we knew who Donald Trump was. We know exactly what he was going to bring. We know exactly what he was going to do. If you're duped by him and you're feeling bad now, like, oh, I shouldn't have voted for him, just forget you. Yes, you're getting what you deserve. But everyone else, I mean, now you really do have to look at the voters of him and be like, yeah, this is what you wanted. The misery of others, because that's what you're gonna see. You're not gonna leave your house and it's not gonna be the same. You know what I'm saying? You're thinking everything's gonna be hunky dory and everybody's gonna be your world is about to drastically change quickly. So
I think people are gonna have to get to a point where they're gonna have to just realize this is what it is and be happy with the decision that they made.
We are in a new world.
Yeah. Musk has inside track to take over contract to fix air traffic communication system. A satellite company owned by Elon Musk has an inside track to potentially take over a large federal contract to modernize the nation's air traffic communication system. Equipment from Musk's Starlink has been installed in Federal Aviation Administration facilities as a prelude to take over a $2 billion contract held by Verizon, according to government employees, contractors, and people familiar with the work. Musk said that the network used by air traffic controllers is aging and requires drastic and quick action to modernize it. The Verizon system is not working, and so is putting air travelers at serious risk, Musk on Monday posted on X, the social media site he has owned since 2022. The emergence of Starlink as a potential replacement for the Verizon-led effort underscores the extraordinary conflicts of interest inherent in Musk's position as both a senior White House advisor to President Donald Trump and a business mogul in charge of a sprawling array of companies. It is not clear what role Musk might be playing in the helping Starlink parent company SpaceX win such big business. There's very limited transparency, said Jessica Tillotman, a contracting law expert at George Washington University. Referring to Musk, she said, without that transparency, we have no idea how much non-public information he has access to or what role he's playing and what contracts are being awarded. So, I mean, we walk right into a go ahead.
I mean, you can see exactly what Elon Musk is doing. He's firing all these areas so he can get the contracts. This is what this is for. He's trying to take over the FAA. He wants to take over NASA. And so even when Donald Trump is out of there, this man is still going to be making money hand over fist. An illegal immigrant came to America and took y'all jobs.
And took over the country, pretty much. I mean, imagine he's going to have NASA. He's going to have the FAA. Who else has he already got his hands in? Because we know that NASA helped save SpaceX to begin with like a $1.5 billion contract back in like 2008, 2009. They awarded him a contract when his business was about to go under. At that point in time, he was almost crying on an interview he had. He was almost crying in the interview. The guy's like, this is very personal and emotional for you, because he understood that this was what saved his company. This is not to say, I mean, I'm not against anyone who is an entrepreneur. I understand how hard that is too. And I understand that, the failures and the success that you do have. However, not when you're doing it this way, not when you're looking at, I mean, you're preying upon the American people and they let you. At the end of the day, a lot of us let him do this. We voted for this. And so I can't even be mad at him for doing what he is doing. Yeah. Because, it was easy pickings.
I mean, it seems like Elon Musk and Trump are kind of like the same people. They're not really good business people. They just make it seem like that. Like SpaceX wasn't his originally. He just bought it.
Tesla
You know what I'm
wasn't his
saying?
originally either.
Tesla wasn't his either. He bought it. You know what I'm saying? X wasn't his. It was a thriving platform. And he joked about buying it, then he signed something, so he had to buy it. And what he did with it is he ruined it. You know what I'm saying? He destroyed it. Like you know what? These people need to watch. You know, at the end of the day, I say this and I'm gonna say it again. America has never done right by the African Americans that helped save it and create this great, beautiful democracy we have today. And so if it has to burn down for us to start something new, well, I guess that's what's going to have to happen, because that's what's happening now. Our old country is gone. Our old times, we can only live and think about our memories that are there. I feel bad, and I pray for anybody that's having a young child right now, because your future is not certain.
At all. I mean, when we're looking at what's happening here, we have to look at him. He's basically walked into the White House, and he's put himself in charge of every department. He spoke today, and they had like and at a cabinet meeting that they had today. He was actually one of the people who was leading the speaking for the entire room. And this is crazy. Imagine speaking to all the different cabinet members in Trump's cabinet. This is for all these places that they're talking about are making cuts. All their cabinet heads were there. In that room. And so he's basically letting them know, hey, you know, I'm the person you need to be listening to.
You know,
so next
crazy.
time I send out an email to y'all talking about you guys better go ahead and tell me what you guys did last week on your job. You better make sure your employees are doing it. This is how much power I got.
The GOP has told, you know, the other Republicans, you know, senator and all them, they told them to stop taking calls from your constituents. Stop listening to them, because they don't need them anymore. They got what they want. They got their votes. They got in there. If they don't need them no more. Now you got to suffer. I got one here. Supreme Court temporarily halts foreign aid release. The U.S. Supreme Court has temporarily blocked an order for lower courts that require the Trump administration to release approximately $1.9 to $2 billion in foreign aid funds by midnight. This action came after an emergency appeal from the Trump administration, highlighting a significant legal battle over executive power and judicial oversight concerning foreign aid distribution. This just came in, so by the time you guys see it, it will be extra news to you. That was by the Supreme Court, so it looks like they're on the side for that one. And so basically all these countries, all that foreign aid that you're giving, that we're supposed to give these other countries, you know who's going to fill that up for us, right? China and Russia.
Absolutely. I mean, we all know where this is heading right now. This has already been something we've talked about several times. When you get to the point to where you don't want to be the person who's, you know, like overseeing what's going on in the world, then someone else is going to do it. That takes away from your power. This is what made America what America is right now, which is our global reach. This is why we got things for so cheap. This is why people used our currency as a reserve currency, because they understood being under the dollar also brings you under their protection of the American government as well. You can travel their shipping lanes that they've established. You can use a dollar. Dollar's a stable currency. You know, you can use our different banking systems that we're using. And so at the end of the day, that's what helped us. But now we're at a point right now to where everyone looks at us as like, you know, hey, someone else might be stepping up to take this role, because Trump is over there actively destroying our country. Around the world. He's destroying our reputation, our role in the world, everything. And so
the whole thing. Yes, go ahead. My bad.
So we're gonna be the ones that have to deal with that.
Yeah, well, I mean, he destroyed our reputation partially before, but then, you know, America elected him again. So it's like, nah, they liked it. That's what they like. You know what I'm saying? That's like that person that steps into like a room and they didn't realize it was an orgy, and then a whole bunch of stuff happening, and they walk out like, well, maybe I want some more. You know what I'm saying? And they walk right back in there. They're like, give me some more, destroy me. So, I mean, if this is what the American people wanted, this is what they're going to get, because they're going to need to understand all these federal firings from the FBI to, you know, they put Cash Patel in charge of the ATF, alcohol, tobacco, firearms. Come on now, bro. Like, we're ripe for an incident. And then you're going to see when an incident happens, what's their response going to be? Is it going to be like you watch Fox News and just decide to go off that? Or are you going to, you know, who they're going to shift the blame to?
I mean, when you look at it, who have they always shifted the blame to? It's going to be easy. What they're going to shift the blame to is migrants and everything else that they've shifted the blame to at this point in time.
Yeah, I just saw an article
kind of
the other day about, migrants coming to the country. It was a black dude holding his black baby. Like I told you, why the black people got to be the face of the migrants?
I mean, somebody's going to have to do it. I guess it's going to have to be us again. That's what they do. But dying to serve. Dozens of recruits have died nationwide while training to become police officers. Ronald Donat's longtime dream of becoming a police officer was in jeopardy. The 41-year-old struggled to stand after completing a flurry of push-ups, sprints, and pull-ups in the notoriously grueling start of physical training that recruits call Hell Day. "You are dead," classmates recall a sergeant berating Donat, ordering him to sit on concrete at the suburban Atlanta Police Academy. Donat, a Haitian immigrant on his third attempt to land a law enforcement job, assured instructors he wasn't giving up. He managed to get up off the ground and rejoin his recruits in the bear crawl exercise, but he soon went limp. 100 minutes after training began that October 2021 morning, he was dead, according to records obtained by the Associated Press. Donat is among at least 29 recruits who died during basic training at law enforcement academies around the country in the last decade. An AP investigation found most died of exertion, dehydration, heat stroke, and other conditions tied to intense exercise, often on the first day of training like Donat. Others died several weeks in, sometimes after suffering trauma, during boxing or in use of force drills, or collapsing during high-stakes timed runs on hot days. Experts and police advocates were surprised by AP's findings based on an extensive review of lists of law enforcement deaths in every state, workplace safety records, and news reports, and said many of the deaths were preventable. No federal agency or outside organization comprehensively tracks recruit deaths, unlike officers who die in the line of duty. What kind of brought this to me, man, was this part right here. It says that black recruits represent nearly 60% of those who died, a striking disparity given that federal data shows black officers make up 12% of local police forces. Many carried sickle cell trait, a condition most prevalent among black Americans that increase risk of serious injury following extreme exertion.
Yeah, we're the only people that catch sickle cell anemia.
It just said many, but still 60% of those who died. Yeah. 60%. I mean, so only they said we're only make up 12% of local police forces. 12%. So 60% of the people who died were here. You know what I mean? And then the other, and then you're only making up 12%. That it just seems almost like, I'm looking at some of the pictures of these people. They don't, they don't look like they're in bad shape. I know sickle cell doesn't always have you looking a certain kind of way, but they said many. That doesn't mean that all. That
well, I mean, they go harder on them. You know what I'm saying? Just to do it. I mean, just to get a job. That's why I laugh. Like we laugh when they talk about DEI and affirmative action and all that stuff. I don't know a nary black person that you got any of that stuff to get them a job. Anytime I got a job, I had to go above and beyond. You know what I'm saying? Like the person next to me could have been, oh, I just need a job, and they'll let them in. I had to go above and beyond just to let them know. Like they told me a story when I used to work at transit about this dude, and they were like, yeah, he came and did his interview, and he flew to Florida to go to Disney World with his family. Then we called him back for the second interview, and then he flew all the way back and left his family, and then came back here, did the second interview. We were so moved that we decided, we have to hire him. And I'm just looking, I'm like, yeah, he's black. That's what he has to do. You have to go above and beyond to get these jobs. But one thing I like to say, I think more black people should enlist to be the police.
Absolutely.
Tons. I mean, if you don't have a criminal record, you should enlist to be the police. Imagine if we had 80% of black people police officers. 80%. Think about, hey, look, you can speed, huh? You can talk on your phone while you're driving, and you get to shoot people that don't listen to you. Hey.
I mean, I think we should become judges, also prosecutors
judges,
as well.
Lawyers, everything.
It matters. I mean, those type of things. That's how you kind of integrate your local community into being what you want it to be, because you're governing yourself. You're self-governing at that point in time. Doesn't matter what the feds or whoever else say. You're self-governing at that point in time. But This is a crazy thing, man. When you're looking at that kind of percentage, I feel like it's something deeper than that. Like you said, I think they're going much harder on those recruits. There's just no way. 60%. I'm looking, so there's no way that we should be 60%, make up 60% of deaths in police officer recruiting. I mean, to me, it should be investigated. It needs to be looked into, because there got to be something. There got to be something wrong.
So you want the police to investigate themselves?
Oh, I want someone outside. Even like the AP went down there and they investigated as well. So I mean, they started this conversation.
My brother,
go ahead.
Look. We make up the most numbers of police arrests. We make up the most number of police shootings. Now, when you try to get into the police force, of course, we have to be the most deaths on that side. They're like, we got to keep it balanced.
Parity. Got to keep a little bit of parity.
Got to keep it balanced. I mean, you can't let all you niggas in.
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy to me that this we've gotten to this point right here, and no one's done an investigation on this. No one's looked into this,
and they got rid of all the departments that are supposed to do the investigation into it. They're gone. He got rid of them.
they don't even keep they naturally don't even keep data like this.
I
Honestly,
don't mean to make a joke of it.
Looked into it. It's just true. It's factual.
Either I make a joke of it or I get serious about what we should really be doing. Because people always say, if freedom don't ring, something's supposed to sing.
I heard about that too as well.
Something
supposed to sing.
It's like a helicopter, something. Yeah, I can't think of nothing. Anyways, RFK's stunning claim about black people and vaccines sparks concerns for medical experts. In 2021, Kennedy had said, we should not be giving black people the same vaccine schedules that we give to whites because their immune system is better than ours. Osborne asked Kennedy to explain what he meant by that remark, and he went to refer a series of studies while saying research shows that blacks need fewer antigens. For the record, experts say that this is not true. Right now, how vaccine schedules are tailored and based of things like our age, our exposure risk, if you have other chronic underlying health conditions, but race isn't one of them. And there isn't research that suggests that it should be. This is Joel Burville, a recent medical graduate and medical mythbuster on social media, told HuffPost. What especially bothered Burville about Kennedy's exchange with Osborne was the fact that he doubled down on his comments from 2021. Kennedy could have used this opportunity to admit that he needs to do more research and understand the vaccine schedule. But instead, he defended what he said, which I think for me, that's where the problem lies in. Burville told HuffPost. Not necessarily the fact of the misinformation is out there, but the fact that he wasn't willing to at least confront it or admit that on stage. Now, that was during his confirmation. And this should just show you this man is in charge of our health now. I mean, he's semi-right. I mean, you should do your vaccines like everyone else does it because, he's against vaccines because he feels it causes autism. But he's like, yeah, black people don't need that. They're pretty healthy. They cool. I mean, which we are. I mean, we only live to be about 60, but
yeah, there was a congresswoman who confronted him about that at his confirmation hearing, brought the fact up that he said that, and he was like, well, I got it from a report out of Poland where they said that black people are more healthy, blah, 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 blah. I'm not sure, what they got going on in Poland where they can tell you something like that, because I don't think there's very many black people that live in Poland.
I'm about to say, how many Negroes in Poland?
Maybe they got outside, how people might have a station somewhere in Africa or somewhere else, where there's in France, who knows? A lot of black people in France as well. But so on top of that, though, they also asked him, they said, are your kids vaccinated? He said, oh yeah, my kids are vaccinated. All of his kids are vaccinated. He made sure he took care of that, but he's telling you not to vaccinate your kids. This is not to say that I believe the vaccines are 100% the answer, because I'm sure we all know that vaccines, there are side effects to these vaccines. We know that. However, I mean, at the same time, though, look at what's going on down in Texas. That's one case right there where they have an outbreak of measles. Look what just happened in
a 10-year-old. One child just died from it.
Absolutely. I mean, look what happened in Kansas. They just had an outbreak of tuberculosis.
Because they're unvaccinated. These people think about this during COVID-19, which is about to come back around. COVID-20 is about 24 is about to hit. Anyways, the people on the news, Fox News, were telling you, don't get vaccinated, don't take the shot. And they were all vaccinated. Every last one of them. They're like, yeah, you guys don't take it. Oh.
So hit me with the double dose.
Hit me with the double dose. Give me the 2 ones. And I'll be back in 3 months to get the booster. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. They gave you all these people that are unvaccinated. I mean, don't listen to him. That's what I called the doctor last week when I saw he was getting nominated. I said, yo, is my son's shots up to date? Like I'm saying, man, I feel so bad for anyone that has a child under the age of 15 right now. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like your world's going to be upside down. Just like after COVID, we still really haven't mentally recovered from COVID. We're acting like we're all, the kids haven't, because kids don't even, I mean, we haven't as adults.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I put the post on my social media the other day. I'm like, Wes, let me ask you a question. Where was your life's trajectory going before COVID hit? What were you planning on doing?
Probably the same thing I'm doing now, but you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So I mean, but I know I get what you're saying. Like, COVID changed everyone's life at that point in time. It changed a lot of people's plans, what they were thinking about, where they were heading in life. It changed a lot of different things. So don't get me wrong. I agree with it, especially when it came. What I looked at it as when it came to kids. I watched a lot of them get to a point to where they, them not going to school, them not interacting with other kids for that amount of time. Imagine how far that set them back, just even socially. And then at the same time, education wise, how bad that did them. So having a person like this in office who's questioned vaccines, who basically, I'm not saying that modern medicine is the answer, because we all know that they don't have a lot of answers. They just have a lot of, stopgap things that kind of keep you coming back, like a drug dealer would do, pretty much. But or do we want a witch doctor in the, heading up
Well, I
where
think
our
it's
medicine, or where our
yeah. Well, the whole
medicines are
thing, it
heading,
seems like
our healthcare
they
is
want
heading?
people to die. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these people, look at they're going to kill off old people. They're a burden to the country, anyways, right?
Mhm.
They're going to kill off all these poor people because they're a burden to community. They don't pay nothing. They don't pay enough. They don't care. It seems like they want these people to die. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be survival of the fittest at the end of the day. That's what we're going into, and so it's going to
Yeah.
be interesting to see, because there a lot of people are going to die.
Yeah, I mean, I believe so. I believe there's going to be a lot of new diseases coming. Like you just said,
Yeah.
there's a new COVID coming right here. And I've heard about two separate diseases. One right here is a mystery disease in Congo, has led to over 50 deaths. Here's what to know about its potential to spread. A mystery illness has caused over 50 deaths amid multiple outbreaks in the Democratic Republic of Congo, doctors say. At least 431 cases have been reported across at least 2 villages in northwest region of Central African nation, according to the most recent bulletin from the World Health Organization Africa on February 16th. Preliminary investigations traced the first outbreak to 3 children who became sick and died after eating a bat carcass, the bulletin said. What has many public health officials concerned is hearing that some of these kids who died consumed a bat carcass. Dr. Celine Gounder, CBS News medical contributor and editor-at-large for public health at KFF Health News, said on CBS Mornings Wednesday. Bats can carry many different infectious diseases, including Ebola and coronavirus, Gounder said. But a number of questions remain about the outbreak. Here's what we know. At least 53 deaths have been reported. The bulletin from WHO's Africa office says the initial outbreak reported at least 12 cases and 8 deaths, while the second cluster reported at least 419 cases and 45 deaths. Gounder, who is an infectious disease expert, said it is unclear if the outbreaks are related. The intervals between the onset of symptoms and death has been just 48 hours in the majority of cases, and that's what's really worrying, says Serge Nigabato, medical director of Bikoro Hospital, a regional monitoring center, told the Associated Press on Monday. This looks pretty serious. They said 48 hours, man, until like from the time you start feeling symptoms until the time you're dead. They said so. Out of 439 cases, there have been 53 deaths. I mean, that's pretty
big. That's kind of like that movie Outbreak with Matt Damon in it, and they're saying they don't know how it's spreading. They don't understand how people are catching it, what's making them sick. Saying all it's going to take is one flight over here.
And it's carcass, though. Like, what the hell? Like, we want to cut off USAID to these different types of groups. And this is what happens right here. Something like this. This is what we don't. This is called I won't call it unintended consequences. They know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah.
But these are the consequences of your actions.
Well, when you look at these people, they just, to them, it's ignored. You know what I'm saying? You have the opiate crisis in their community. Ignore it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? There's some people they're like, ignore it. It doesn't affect us until it does. 48 hours, my guy. 48 hours.
That's no time at all.
Do you know how horrible? Think about it. Somebody from the Congo comes in here, gets into the airport, spreads that, and people start going to festivals during the summer.
Oh, it's over with. It's over.
And think about it. Then you're out of the whole World Health Organization. The CDC's not responding. Trump's going to sit there and act like it's not happening while bodies are dying, and they're controlling the media, so they're not going to really let you know.
Said you start bleeding from your different orifices. I mean, like ears, nose, all that kind of stuff. You just start bleeding. I mean, these are kids that are dying. I mean, we're just not like, this isn't like coronavirus where you got most people who are older dying. Not saying that it makes it any less. It's just saying that everybody's prone. Everybody's in its path. There's no
everybody needs to. You need if you care about yourself, I would mask up. Bird flu is contracting to humans now. You have this disease from the Congo that's going to get to us. You have the new coronavirus that they found in the Wuhan laboratory spreading in China. You got the measles down in Texas. Like, what? End of days, my brother. End of days.
And I think at the end of when you look at them, this is what you're signing us up for. You're getting rid of all these doctors, getting rid of took us out of WHO. They took us out of the World Health Organization, and they just moved us out of it. Don't want to pay our part. This doesn't make any sense. You want things to fester until they become a problem, so someone can come in and pretend to solve it and make money off solving the problem.
And even if they do have a somehow election after Donald Trump passes, because he's not leaving, you know what I'm saying? If I'm a Democrat, I'll be like, I'm good. Nah, y'all finish what you started. I'm good. I ain't coming behind you to fix that. Because you came behind, think about it, Democrats came behind, tried to fix COVID. Donald Trump fumbled, right? And y'all still acted like he didn't do a good job. Well, welcome to phase 2 of the party. This is crazy, bro. We've been holding on to that story for a couple days too, but we have to let that one out because we have to warn the general public about what might just temporarily happen. 48 hours. COVID took a week. Remember? It took 7 days for COVID to kill people. 48 hours. Yeah, that's
pretty
crazy.
Much from the first time you sneeze until the last time you breathe. You know what I mean? That's pretty much what that is right there.
And then let me ask you a question. I want to show you a video, Wes, and I want you to tell me what you think about it. It was Donald Trump posted it on his Truth Social, and this is his dream for Gaza.
Set you free, bringing the light for all to see. No more tunnels, no more fear. Trump Gaza is finally here. Trump Gaza shining bright, golden future, a brand new light. Feast and dance, the deal is done. Trump Gaza #1. Trump Gaza shining bright, golden future, a brand new light. Feast and dance, the deal is done. Trump Gaza #1.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I mean, you want to turn basically their religious sacred grounds into Trump Gaza.
They're finishing. Yep, they're finishing off the holy war. That's all it's ever been there, folks. That whole land has been fought by the holy war. You have the people from the Middle East that have always been there their whole lives, and then you have the Europeans trying to come over there and take it over. Well, guess what? They took it over. All those people that voted thinking Trump will do something about Gaza, he sure is. He sure is. Oh, y'all thought, Biden and Kamala weren't going to do nothing to stop it. I mean, they did. They stopped the weapons. So, Israel couldn't bomb anybody forever. You know what I'm saying? They stopped the missiles. And then Trump got in there. He's like, take the missiles. I'll take Gaza. We'll split it and create a Riviera.
Yep. I mean, now they're going into the West Bank with tanks and telling people when you leave, after I shoot you up, shoot up the block, you guys leave from here. Don't bother coming back because it's ours now. This is pretty much what they're doing. They're riding down here. Just imagine a person coming down your street with guns, tanks, troops, and everything, shooting up people, and then expecting you just to sit here and stay here. They know you're going to run. They know you're going to leave. That's what, because normal people don't want to be around war. You just don't.
And remember this, folks. Remember last year in 2024 when we had time and we had a good life where you didn't have to worry about the president. You had time to go protest and stand out there and do things. Now there's so much chaos in your face, you done forgot about Gaza. That's not your concern because you got to worry about if you're going to have a job tomorrow. You got to worry about if your house is going to be there tomorrow. You got to worry about if you're going to be sick tomorrow in America. This is what you wanted. This is what you signed up for. This is what you didn't vote for, and this is what you voted for. Chaos in the streets all across the world.
Yep. And with that right there.
Yep. We're going to send you off. This is Uncommon Courtesy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We will see you next time.